Hey there. So, just want to talk a little bit about emotional availability again. I've spoken about this already several times, and you'll hear about this a lot. You'll hear women say this all the time, like, I wish my man was more emotionally open or emotionally available. Yeah, I would say I don't even know a woman who doesn't want that. But, I thought it was very interesting because when I was like last night, when I was just kind of thinking about some things, I thought about this question, or I actually thought about this thought, but I'm going to pose a question to you. Have you ever known a emotional man, okay, a man that's emotional, and I'm not saying feminine. I'm not talking about a feminine man, okay? I'm talking about an emotional, open man, or a man that is, that is loving. Just think of any emotional man that you know, right? Do you know any of them that are actually alone, like they don't have a partner? I mean, if you think about it, right? When you really think about it, like, I personally don't know a man, young or old, who is an emotional or open, or I would say open emotionally, meaning like he loves to love, he loves to hug. Those kind of guys that are just like, hey, my brother from another mother, that kind of guy. Like, that's just that guy that's like, everybody likes him. He, kind of, I don't want to say jolly, but it is, kind of overall happy. They'll talk to you. They smile. Like they're really, they will really, like, when you conversate with them, they're in the moment with you. Laughing, joking, but they are open. They're not closed. They're not closed-hearted, right? They're not like this, or they're not hiding in their house somewhere. They're emotionally open. They freely kiss their kids. These are the kind of dads, like let me, because my late husband, he was that way. He freely kissed the boys. He loved, giving hugs and, playing games and, that kind of thing. Just open emotionally, right? I personally don't know a man that's like that is not married or not with somebody, because to be open emotionally, right, to me, I'm really starting to understand how valuable that is. Like, that is so valuable. And to me, it's more valuable than how much money the man brings in. I'm just keeping it real, okay? I know the things that I'm looking for, right? But, I no longer want to deal with avoidance, or anybody who is avoiding their emotions or their trauma. I don't want to deal with traumas and stuff like that. Somebody who in general is open emotional, open emotionally, like open to emotional experiences. What do I mean by that? Like saying, things like, okay, let me give you a difference. A closed emotional or emotional closed man, or an avoidant type of man, right? Maybe touch is his love language, but let's say he might walk into the room where his girlfriend is at, and in his mind he's waiting for her to reach out and hug him or touch him or whatever, right? Because he really wants to be hugged or touched. But he doesn't say anything, he doesn't ask. He just stands there and he's hoping to get that interaction from her, right? He's not saying it, okay? He's just hoping. Now, an open and emotionally open man, right? Okay, so one who is like how do I say it? One who is very willing to just come out and, say, walk in the room, where's my hug? I need a hug. Give me a hug. It don't really matter how old they are, right? It's like, give me a hug. I need a hug. I need love. Okay, those type of guys, right? I'm not saying guys aren't like that with other guys. Okay, I get that. Guys are not like that with other guys. That's crazy, right? But I'm talking about in a relationship, okay, with your girl. I mean, I don't know a woman who is going to, well, I'm not saying they don't exist. I've heard of them. I guess they do exist. But most women, we just melt. We would just melt if a guy's like, give me a hug, give me my hug, I need my loving, or whatever, right? I mean, I'm just saying, I guess there are some women who are not lovey-dovey and who are not very touchy-feely. I understand. I've heard of that, you know. But, I mean, I think even those women could be broke down. I mean, I think even those women can actually, like, you know, turn into lovey-dovey women, especially if they're like, if you say it like, baby, I need love. So I'm saying that because if you think about it, right? If you are a man who finds yourself either single or divorced or, you know, without a mate, and this is not, you know, nothing is, everybody is single for different reasons. I was widowed, you know, and sometimes you leave your partner leaves you, whatever, it doesn't matter. But the point is that if you are an avoidant style, you have a hard time opening up and expressing yourself, right? I would say think about this, because fact is everybody wants love, right? But then there are some men who just automatically always have love around them. They are the ones that are emotionally open. Okay, it's like in children, you can have two different children, and the oldest might be busy off doing his thing on the computer or whatever, but when the youngest is home, he's like, mommy, I love you, give me hugs and kisses, and it's all over his mommy, right? And the thing is, he's a baby, and he's always, as he grows up, always getting the most love, the most hugs. He gets the most food, he gets the most snacks. I mean, why? He's a squeaky wheel, right? The squeaky wheel gets the most oil, right? And I'm talking about in that way that's like very loving, you know, like, I need my loving, I need my hugging, I need my kissing, you know, that kind of thing. I'm saying that because I actually do remember my late husband. He was like that. He used to say that all the time. I mean, it was a rule, like, you know, we couldn't be in the car together without holding hands, or I at least had to have my hand on his leg. It wasn't very important. But if we even came into the room and we didn't hug, he would be like, where's my hug? You know, like, I just knew that, right? But I didn't really understand. A lot of times emotionally avoidant men, or men that are scared to show emotion, a lot of times that happened in childhood. Their light was stamped out young. You know, maybe their mother or somebody who they were looking to for nurturing probably told them, stop crying, like, quit crying, put your emotions away, or whatever, you know, like, stop doing that, or no, like, maybe they went to go get a hug and mom pushed them away or something like that. And that kind of that was emotionally damaging, and it taught them to put their feelings and emotions away and not to ask for love, basically, right? So as they grow up as men, they become men that are avoidant, or they have a hard time. Like, in other words, you'll see couples that are no problem having, you know, doing PDA, right? Public displays of affection. They have no problem, him or her. And that is an example of a very open, emotionally open couple, you know, man and woman. But then there's other couples that it's like you can't even tell they're a couple, because they got miles apart, right? And you can't even tell if they're actually a couple, right? And so I'm only saying that because if your goal is to have a relationship, I don't know a woman, I don't know one, but I know that they probably do exist, but I don't personally know a woman in my sphere who wouldn't just cave in to a man that was emotional, to a man who was being sincere. I'm talking about sincere emotion, who was just sincerely, you know, said what he really felt, you know, like, I love you, I miss you, come give me my hugs, my loving, or whatever. That is very endearing. Even it's endearing in children. It's definitely endearing in relationships, right? So anyway, I wrote this down because I thought this was a very I like the way that this person put this. It says, when you feel worthy and you love yourself enough, you will attract emotionally open, available, stable partners who reflect the same love and self-care that you do. And then that's a really good part, a good point. Okay, so I was listening to something and I really like that. That's why I wrote it down. It says, when you feel worthy yourself, right, and you love yourself enough, you will attract emotionally open, available, stable partners who reflect the same love and self-care that you do. And the thing about it is you know, I have dealt with a couple of, you know, avoidance, and it was not on purpose. And it definitely, I clearly naturally do attract emotionally open, available partners because of my late husband. So, and then, actually my second husband was very Emotional, absolutely, yeah. He was emotional. I'm not even gonna. Yeah, he did not hide his emotions at all, no matter what they were. Okay, so he was not. So definitely not. But I've had a couple of relationships now where I inadvertently kind of attracted, avoidant partner styles. And like I said, I'd always read about them, but I didn't actually experience that. But now that I have, the difference when you meet somebody, again, who is open and emotional, it really can, it just opened my eyes, actually. It opened my eyes and opened my heart even more. Made me feel, made me realize, like, yeah, like this is what seems normal to me. This seems very normal to me. And I just putting it out there in like layman terms. I'm not a doctor or psychologist or anything like that, but I'm trying to put this in a way that I think is helpful to men out there who are, looking to be booed up. Like, that is very important to stay emotionally vulnerable, right? In relationships, because I feel like it's very endearing and it can bring the two of you closer to each other, right? And when you have to learn a lesson in the opposite, like I had to, lessons cost you time, peace, money, and energy, right? It's like, I don't want to learn any more lessons. I want my blessings, okay? I don't need any more lessons in avoidant style type of men, okay? Let's see. I think that was, let's see. So emotionally open men are not afraid of being intimate and vulnerable. I talked about that. So basically, nothing but pure, honest love, intention, safety, emotional openness, security, pure love, commitment. Those are the things that I know that I value, and that those are the things that I know that I am myself. So that is for me like the gold standard. Of course, yeah, commitment. One woman. Okay, I don't share. So anyway, so yeah, I've been talking a lot about that, just being open and emotionally, and how important that really is in relationships. Okay, so let me see. Let me find the AI definition. Okay, I'm typing that in. So it says, being emotionally open means freely expressing and sharing your feelings and emotional experiences with others. It involves a willingness to be vulnerable and take the risks of exposing your inner world, hoping for positive, genuine connection. Emotionally open individuals are comfortable acknowledging their emotions, both positive and negative, and sharing them with others. Absolutely. Okay, so then it says, here's a more detailed look, so it'll go into that. But I always say, like, just like I said, I was just thinking, like, I don't know a man who is open emotionally who doesn't have somebody. Those are the easiest men to get booed up with, when they have no problem expressing their emotions and being vulnerable, right, to their partner. And I know most men and women, I know people get scared of being hurt. They're scared of being hurt. And I guess they consider it a risk. But I don't look at it that way. I always look at it as, like, I shared my emotion with you, and now it's your responsibility to, like, I don't know, respect that, care for that, or, it's like the ball is in your court now. I don't know. I don't look at it, like, if I say to someone, I think you're very handsome, you're very good looking, and something to that effect or whatever, which, I'm not saying a stranger, but anyway, just to say, I say that, right? I don't look at that as a risk. I'm just speaking of fact. Okay? I guess other people have looked at that type of thing as being kind of vulnerable or open, right? But, like, to me, it's like, it's just a fact. If I think you're handsome or whatever, that's what you are. There's no amount of whatever for me is going to change that, right? So I guess it's on how you look at it. Because I think a lot of people are like, oh, if you go for a hug and you get turned down, I mean, when you think about it, who looks like the bad person doing that? Right? Like, who looks like the bad person who looks like the bad person? You turn down somebody giving a hug. I mean, and I'm saying this like, especially like in a relationship. If you're in a relationship with somebody, or you're dating somebody and they go to hug you and they turn you down, like, okay, they're the one that looks crazy. The other person looks crazy, right? So, I don't know. I don't look at it as a risk, but I guess because I am open emotionally, so it's hard for me to see it that way, right? Okay, so it says, so here's a little bit more detailed look. It says, sharing your emotional life. This involves being able to express your emotions, whether joy, sadness, anger, or fear, in a way that others can understand and connect with. Vulnerability. It requires a willingness to be open and vulnerable, even though that means exposing yourself to the possibility of rejection or hurt. I mean, yeah. I don't know. I guess there are some circumstances that it could be, a risk, but for most part, for me, I've never viewed it as a risk. I don't know. But I can see, I guess, why other people do. Honesty and authenticity. Emotionally open individuals are typically honest about their feelings and avoid hiding or suppressing their emotions. Building trust and intimacy. Emotional openness is a crucial component of building trust and intimacy in relationships. Open communication is about creating a space where emotions can flow freely and openly, fostering a sense of connection and understanding. And I do think that for a lot of men, it's good. It's good for men if you can remind your man, if you can say to him, like, maybe he's having a hard time saying something, and you can say something to the effect of, hey baby, it's gonna be okay. Whatever you got to say or whatever you need to tell me is gonna be all right. It's gonna be all right, and it's valuable to me. I won't judge you. No judgment zone here. Okay, I won't judge you. In fact, I will appreciate your honesty, and in fact, I will respect your honesty, whatever it is, good or bad, no matter what it is. Right? No matter what it is, you got to tell me. Even if you have to tell me you hate me. Even if you had to say, I'm walking out of your life forever and ever, or whatever, something like that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I know I absolutely respect honesty. Absolutely. I respect honesty over somebody trying to control my emotional state. Because I can handle and absorb emotions, good or bad. I deal with it. Right? As long as what is being presented to me is being spoken to me in a respectful way, or just in a kind way, not just jabs or throwing threats or anything like that. No, nobody wants that, right? But sometimes when we do have something that we need to say that maybe you're nervous about saying or coming out or admitting to or something like that, it helps when you have a partner who reminds you and says, honey, no matter what it is, I'm not going to judge you. And the truth is, none of us should be judging. If you're a judgmental person, then people are going to be afraid of your judgment. And then in general, if if they love you, like if that person you're in a relationship, he loves you, he's automatically going to be afraid of your judgment. Okay? And so it helps to say, I'm not here to judge you. I'm not going to judge you. You can go ahead and get it out, whatever it is. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Anyway, so, when I was thinking about it, like, I don't even know a man who is open emotionally, or that type of a man, who is alone. I mean, I don't know of any. I'm sure they are. They're out there, like, men and women are single for all different reasons, like I said, right? But the fact is, those who are not afraid to be vulnerable, and they're not afraid to be loving and expressive, right? And be that squeaky wheel, right? They will have another partner very fast. It's just like most women absolutely love that in a man. Love that, we find that to be, very endearing. It's like, oh, come get your hug, baby. Anyway, let me stop. Okay, it's been 20 minutes. Bye.